So I got this package in the mail, and it doesn't matter, the package isn't super important, but it's kind of just like, kind of funny. I don't know, yeah, like, you know, what, you know? So I got this.
Robyn and I have an employee, we call her a nanny. She comes over, she helps with caring for the kids, and she helps with schooling the kids.
The nanny and her husband doing that makes it so they can come over. Because when I'm home, I do exactly what I should, yet my girls can't see their siblings. What does the nanny do?
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. What does the nanny do? The million-dollar question that Christine Brown asked on TLC's Sister Wives this season, and we're still confused. So who's ready for a little trolling and a little jokes? Cause shade was thrown, lines were drawn, and questions about the nanny remain.
What does the nanny do?
There's a group on TikTok that apparently are making t-shirts that you can buy that say, "What did the nanny do?" And apparently Paedon Brown had a package arrive at his house. Paedon is the only son of Christine and Kody Brown. Yes, he is the third child and only son. He was formerly in the military, and I believe now he's in the National Guard, and he does not live in Arizona, but he shared a video on his TikTok of him after he received a package of a t-shirt that says, "What does the nanny do?"
So I got this package in the mail, and it doesn't matter, the package isn't super important, but it's kind of just like, kind of funny. I don't know, yeah, like, you know, what, you know?
So he doesn't say what it says, but clearly the shirt says, "What does the nanny do?" And he says it's kind of funny. Now, let's just be honest here. Christine's kids have taken her side. Paedon did a Q&A, I don't even know, maybe a month ago, about his parents. And he talked about how his mom was doing great. He said he was never going to be a polygamist. He did not agree with that way of life. And he was very supportive of his mother. He didn't have anything negative necessarily to say about his dad, but it was very clear that where he stood in regards to supporting his mother. The kids were raised by Christine, and Christine was the only mom that raised all of the kids, all the littles, until Robyn entered the picture. This is the question that so many fans have asked because Christine, for years, was the sole provider or the sole caretaker for Janelle's kids and her kids. She cared for 12 children without a nanny, without help. Both Janelle and Mary worked. And during that time, not only did Christine take care of the kids, she also homeschooled the kids until they went to private school. And it wasn't until 2009, when the cameras started filming, that Christine then the kids were allowed to go to public school. Christine was able to, for as many years as she was there, do it by herself. Now, on this season, on the tell-all, she explained that she was very burnt out having to do it by herself. And she said that when she approached Kody about feeling burnt out and feeling like she needed help, he blamed her for changing the rules.
I put everybody first most of the time. I put whatever Kody needed. It's like, I can be the peacemaker here. What does Mary need? What do all the kids need? It left me running on empty. And I asked him for help. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. He's like, "You're just changing all the agreements and everything." And I said,
at no time in that period was she allowed to have a nanny because, frankly, the family could not afford it. Here's the interesting part. Robyn Brown is not working and has not worked the entire time that she has been with the family. She started a defunct company called Sister Wives Closets that for a couple years sold not the cutest or unique or interesting jewelry, and she abruptly left and closed the shop in 2019. That specific company, I'm assuming, didn't do very well, and she hasn't had a job beyond that. She has the most expensive home of all of the sister wives. She and Kody purchased a house in Flagstaff for almost $900,000 in the middle of a time when Kody said that they did not have the money to build on Coyote Pass. The family had plunked down over $1 million or $800,000 on property, and that property to this day remains completely undeveloped. Paedon was asked not long ago if any construction was going on at the property, and he said no. So there's no construction happening at Coyote Pass, no homes are being built, and Robyn has a $900,000 home and a nanny. The inequity here is huge. So the shade by Paedon, I think, is funny, haha, but it's also maybe a dig at them in terms of like him supporting his mom in that, what does the nanny do? Christine was able to do this. If Robyn isn't working and she only has two children that are like under the age of 16, because I think Brianna is 16 or 17 now. So she has Solomon, who's probably 9 or 10, and then Ariella, who's 4. She has 2 kids. How does she not have the time to take care of the kids and do their education? Why do they need a nanny, and why do they need an employee? Okay, so Christine for sure wants to know what the nanny was doing. And the way that TLC presented it, it was like we were shocked that they had a nanny. And Kody calls it an employee that helps with school. Why does Robyn need someone to help her 2 kids with school when Robyn is supposed to be the stay-at-home mom that takes care of the kids?
Robyn and I have an employee, we call her a nanny. She comes over, she helps with caring for the kids, and she helps with schooling the kids.
Her other 2 children are adults, Aurora and Dayton, and Brianna is 16. Why is it that Christine got 12 kids and no help, and now because they have a TV show and she's the favorite, she gets a nanny? When I saw the way that she posed it as though, like, what is the nanny doing that gets her to be at the house? I know it had to do with COVID, but part of me felt like the question was loaded. And like, what does she do? What does she do? Why is she there? I'm sure she knew she was there, but I think the revelation was shocking to fans. It's clear that Robyn has received preferential treatment from Kody for years. And it's also clear that Kody and Christine's relationship struggled for years. I am currently back on season 4, and I'm watching the season where Solomon was born, and some of the kids struggled with him being added to the family. Once he was born, everyone was ecstatic. But even Christine admitting to struggling with her marriage. Even at Christmas time, she and Kody are very tense and not getting along. This is season 4, which was filmed in 2012.
But right now we're not really even working on it, and that's hard.
Well, Christine's very different than she used to be. You know, in dealing with family marriage counseling and things like that, you have to learn to own your stuff.
She was having problems with Kody from the very first season. And I still can't get over the fact that Robyn's like, you didn't really do enough. You didn't try hard enough. I was with a guy that was for 7 years, and I tried so hard. Okay, well, I have some details about the divorce between Robyn and her husband. Apparently, the divorce went down, I told you, because her husband didn't want to stay in the faith, and Robyn felt like she needed to be married to him. So did Robyn excuse the fact that she felt like he gave up so she didn't have to try because he didn't want to try? Is that the difference? Because Kody does want to be in the faith and Christine didn't want to be in the faith? Is that why she's giving Christine such a hard time? I do like that I'm seeing some of the kids speaking out here, and you do have to wonder, with how some of the kids don't want anything to do with the show, how much control Kody has over them and how they act on social media. We spent a lot of time talking about Jim Bob Duggar and how he controls his kids on social media to protect the show. Do you think that Kody exercises similar control around his kids and what they put out on social media? Because I have the feeling that there's a lot of hard feelings here, like a ton. Because some of these kids don't go home to see their dad. And when the kids are being visited out on the East Coast, Kody's never there to see Maddie. And when they go to Utah to visit the kids, Kody wasn't there to see the kids. It took him a very long time to even meet his granddaughter, his first child, the first granddaughter that McKelty had, his daughter with Christine. You better believe if it was one of Robyn's kids that had the baby, you know he would have been there in a heartbeat like that. So what does the nanny do? I'm still very confused by this, but I also like to see Paedon being a little trolly, poking a little fun, throwing a little shade. But I think underneath all of that, there's a lot of hurt feelings. And I do wonder, when it all is said and done, is this going to be a 12-year-long con that they've pulled over on the public about how polygamy is great? Is the public going to finally wake up and realize that polygamy isn't great? And they are dealing with a lot of the same issues that a lot of the polygamists are. Now they just have a lot more fame, money, power. I don't know. Tell me what your thoughts are. Are you still Team Christine? Are you on Team Paedon? Do you follow Paedon on TikTok? He's kind of funny. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.